Starting pitcher Rangers Suarez went 5 strong, shutting out the Astros, handing Houston their first loss on the road in the postseason. And once again, the Philadelphia Phillies are now 2 wins away from winning the World Series. And greetings all. Welcome into the CBS Sports HQ studio. RussThaler here with former Marlins president David Samson. We just got finished watching this game like the rest of you, I imagine. What are you thinking right now after watching Philly just absolutely demolish Houston?
Yeah, this was a dream come true for the Philadelphia Phillies. When you go home after getting the split on the road and you can hold serve in Game 3 and do it in the manner in which the Phillies did it, it feels really good. Let's talk about what the Phillies did right. Starting pitching. They got to pitch Suarez because of the rain out yesterday, and he came in and dominated. Pitch 1, out 1. Pitch 2, out 2. That's how fast it went in the first inning. The Astros were aggressive, and they did not get anything going. Then you get your offense on the field. Get the crowd going. And guess what happens then in the first inning? You guessed it, that's when the barrage started. So when you make up your game plan, you want to come out strong with your pitching, you want to get offensive support, you want to add on, you want to save your bullpen. Everything that you'd want, the Phillies got. It is a Christmas miracle for this team.
It was a dream night for Philadelphia sports fans and for the Philadelphia Phillies. On the flip side, an absolute nightmare for the Houston Astros, especially Lance McCullers. First pitcher ever to give up 5 home runs in a postseason game. What happened to Lance McCullers? Was he tipping his pitches?
So you're gonna hear a lot about this. We're gonna spend a lot of time talking about this both tonight on Nothing Personal tomorrow because something was going on. Lance McCullers is a top of the rotation pitcher. And when you look at the swings that the Phillies were getting off McCullers, it almost was like they knew what was coming. Does that sound familiar? Harper was waiting for that breaking ball like he's a good hitter, MVP. But the way he squared up on that, it's not guessing. He knows there's a breaking ball. You only know from 2 ways. You're sitting on it and you recognize spin, the pitcher is tipping it, or you're stealing it. Every home run that was hit by the Phillies was off of Lance McCullers' bad pitch. These were not lucky home runs. These were purposeful home runs. Brandon Marsh, are you kidding me? But look at the pitch. That's what we have to talk about.
Well, and one of the reasons why we're going to be talking about this is because the last team to hit 5 home runs in one World Series game, in fact, the only other team to hit 5 home runs in one World Series game was the Houston Astros in 2017. And now we are all well aware of how they were helped to hit all those home runs because they were banging on garbage cans.
Now, it should be noted, it's great, and I love this conversation, but what was found by baseball actually is that in the postseason, they weren't doing the garbage can stuff, but guess what? They were stealing signs all the time. So were we. So was everyone. It's just that they got caught doing the garbage cans. But that game was something, that sort of offense that happened at home for Houston. The Phillies were at home. I am not now telling you that Philly was hitting garbage cans. What I am telling you is something was going on with Lance McCullers. And it's not that he was hurt, because then you would have seen a trainer. It's not that he lost his release point. His release point was fine. The spin was coming off exactly. He didn't have location, and he was using get-me-over sliders that were hanging. When you hang it, as Hakeem Dermish likes to say, they bang it. And that's what the Phillies were doing. And when you get 5 home runs from 5 different players on the lineup, the Phillies had no runners in scoring position. It was just single home run, solo home run, walk home run. And then the pitching is doing what the pitching did with Suarez. It's the perfect World Series.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, baseball in 2022. Solo home runs, 7 runs without a runner in scoring position is amazing. Look, 69% of the teams that win Game 3 go on to win the World Series. What are you feeling right now if you're the Houston Astros?
So here's what you do in the clubhouse after you lose Game 3, because I've been in the clubhouse after losing Game 3 of a World Series, and we lost it at home, not on the road. You go in and you go talk to your manager, you talk about Game 4, because you're told about the stat. Now, the stat was different because it was 15 years ago or 19 years ago, but it's the same percentage. It's about 70% of the time the winner of Game 3 in a 1-1 series goes on to win it. Well, guess what? We're one of the 30% because we lost game 3 and still won the series in 6. We then won 3 games in a row. How did we do it? Short memory. We had short memories because all of our players were young. We were playing with house money. The Astros are the opposite. They have short memories because they're veterans. They've been here before. They're not intimidated. They came to Philly to either win 2 out of 3 or 1 out of 3. Just no sweep. This was a game, whether you lose it 1-0, 7-0, 20-0, the Astros are veterans. They're led by a great skipper in Dusty Baker. They'll come out tomorrow and won't even be thinking about this game.
Why is tomorrow, Wednesday's Game 4, so big for both teams?
So let's really talk about what happened. I'm going back to the rainout because after the rainout, it changed the entire rotation for the Phillies. The Phillies are going with Aaron Nola tomorrow, who is the Game 1 pitcher. The Astros are not going with Justin Verlander. They're going with Christian Javier. The interesting thing about that is the Astros have a deeper rotation, no question, and it's not as though that the Phillies are going with someone who is not one of the best pitchers in baseball. However, if you go with Nola, which they're doing in Game 4, and you don't win that Game 4 and the series is tied at 2, the Astros in a 3-game series, because that's what happens when it's tied at 2, it's the first team to 4, so it's a 3-game series, the Astros get a huge advantage because their pitching's lined up for 5, 6, 7. The Phillies have used Nola, and then they've got to go with a Syndergaard and then a Wheeler in Game 6 back to Suarez in 7. Game 4 tomorrow is going to be critical. The Phillies win, they're up 3-1. Likely, they're going to be World Series champions. The Astros win, they tied at 2. Likely, they're going to be World Series champions. If you can handicap the game tomorrow, you have a good chance of knowing who's going to win. And here's a spoiler alert. Be careful, Philadelphia. Houston does not like losing by a touchdown, and they're too good to lose 2 in a row.
Well, the Philadelphia Phillies have now won 6 straight to start this postseason at home. They're 6-0, so they've scored the touchdown and wins without kicking the extra point. Want to give a shot at handicapping Game 4?
Yeah, I want to point out that the Phillies have been really good at home, and I didn't think this was because of the crowd. And that was one thing that was going to be discussed. This is all about the crowd. It's the greatest home field advantage in sports. That's not what this game was about tonight. The crowd was fine. They were loud, but it's not like the Astros couldn't handle that. The Astros couldn't handle the fact that Lance McCullers was thumbing it up there. And they couldn't handle the fact that they could not get to Ranger Suarez. Good pitching, bad hitting, doesn't matter what the crowd is. It is unlikely that you will see that sort of quiet bat out of Houston tomorrow, and it's very unlikely that the Phillies will continue to hit that type of home runs. If they do, then it's going to be 3-1 Phillies. But my Spidey sense tells me, my World Series ring tells me, look out for the Astros in Game 4.
Now we're looking at possible Game 6, possible Game 7 in Houston over the weekend. David Samson, former president of the Florida Marlins. Always awesome to sit here and talk baseball with you. This series comes at you quick, fast, in a hurry. Game 4 coming your way on Wednesday night from Citizens Bank Park. Game 5 right on the back of it on Thursday. Off day Friday if necessary. Game 6 and 7 would take place in Houston. And for more from David Samson, just check out his podcast Monday through Friday. It's about all topics, sports and otherwise. It's called Nothing Personal with David Samson. Check it out wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.